Hello, everybody. Well, James is someone I've known for a long time, going back a long, long time, really. And I'm delighted to sort of have a quick chat with James Minter, who is a headhunter, for want of a better expression, and has got a lot of expertise in the retail sector and finding and placing candidates on behalf of big brands, mainly sort of heads of e-com, heads of digital, and a lot of expertise in the retail sector too. So I thought it was a really interesting time to catch up with James and find out a bit about what's going on in the market right now. Hello, James.
Hi, yeah. So just to expand on your introduction a little bit. So just so people know a little bit more. So we'll I suppose the two main markets we deal with. You're absolutely right. It's all about retail, e-commerce, digital marketing. Half our business is in very big corporates where we're helping build teams or just specific experts in digital, be that global head of big data, global director of e-tailing. And then the other half of what we do is growth companies where they're well beyond the startup phase. You typically got a company that's growing at sort of 50 to 100% a year with good margins. And the founders are either looking to replace themselves or get that first layer of professional management in that can straddle the gap between putting systems and processes into place, but still sort of understand the entrepreneurial flavor of what they're doing and not trample on that entrepreneurial spirit. So I think, we like to sort of say that we're very good at sort of finding corporate entrepreneurs. If you're in digital marketing or in e-commerce, you have to be adaptable. You have to change with the times in a very, very quick basis. But at the same time, you have to be able to do that at scale inside another organization. So, and I think that works for both those areas of business we're in. If you're in a big corporate, you've got to bring the board along with you, other people who are incumbents in the business. If you are in a small growth company, you've got to persuade them that actually having some systems and processes is a good thing. So there's that sort of innovative entrepreneurial side of things, but also the ability to be a leader within a bigger business and make that happen.
Okay, that's good. And then one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you is that we've had a few conversations this year, especially build up to what's been going on recently. And you mentioned sort of that you're busy, and I think that's really interesting from a recruitment perspective. And I'm seeing certainly on LinkedIn, lots of people still moving around, looking to change jobs at the moment. What's going on in the market at the moment? What are you seeing when you're talking to clients and to candidates?
Yeah, so I think we expected and then we experienced a massive, cut off in sales. I mean, in jobs coming in. Recruitment is a cyclical business. We expect things to go well and then not to go well on a sort of fairly regular basis. And we've sort of experienced that, but in a sort of accelerated fashion. So in the first few weeks, every single process that we're involved with was stopped. But in the last week, we've seen the taps being turned back on again. And I suppose, that makes sense. The one area of business that is still going, in fact, some businesses are going better than they've have been going before. I was talking to a VC yesterday. He's got 35 companies in his portfolio. And he says, out of those 35, there's a 10 or 20% who are all online, and they're seeing numbers in a month growth that took them a year before. So that's one side of the picture, and that's going to drive people needing people. So we're seeing that. We're seeing people coming back to us and saying, right, actually, business is continuing normal in terms of digital marketing, e-commerce. We need to keep hiring. So I'm not saying everything's back to normal, but there's certainly a fair amount of movement within the market.
So there's a lot of sort of reviewing of the current teams, the skill sets within the existing team, and one of the things we were talking about before was actually it's accelerating the digital priority for a lot of clients, and they're needing to add to the team or bring in new skills to existing teams.
Yeah. So I think I was listening to a webinar just before this, and there's a guy from one of the big four accountancy firms who deals with retail, and he was saying that, this is a catalyst for huge change. Anything that was happening before is just going to be, again, it's going to be accelerated. Any boards that were thinking, oh, should we be doing more digital stuff? They're suddenly doing things that might have taken 9 months before in 72 hours. Yeah, there's definitely opportunities out there.
And so, what should people who are still looking before this all happened, should they still be looking right now, and what should they be doing right now? I mean, certainly I've seen some cases of people leaving jobs and then that job offer being rescinded. It's, there'll be a lot of people out there concerned about making a move right now versus staying where they are. What's your advice to them, and what sort of companies should they be looking towards, and what should they be doing right now?
Well, I think there's some trite things I can say that I'm sure everyone's already thought of, but I think it's a fantastic opportunity to take a step back and look at the way all the people we're hopefully the audience is a marketing audience anyway. Think about marketing yourself, clearing out your stable, and just checking things like LinkedIn, maybe redoing your CV, things that, we're doing the same thing. We're looking at our website, we're looking at our LinkedIn profile. So I think there's some simple things to do like that. I think it's a fantastic opportunity to think about areas of your knowledge that you just never had time before to really brush up on. I'm currently going back into looking at the world of SEO. It's something that I've heard time and time again over the last 7 years. In fact, it's something that we did when I set up a club, Adam Street, which is how you and I know each other, Jim. We were actually incredibly good at SEO, and it's one of the reasons the club grew so quickly. And I think I'd slightly forgotten that. And I was listening to a guy who set up Gumtree, and he was talking to a sort of young audience of young bucks starting out their companies. And they said, what's your marketing secret? And he said, well, SEO is still as relevant now as it was 15, 20 years ago. Yeah. If you've got good organic search stuff on your it's not free, but it's a very cheap way of starting off your digital marketing. So I think there are areas like that you might want to sort of think about just getting into. When you and I first started talking about this, you said, have you got any advice on things like CVs and LinkedIn profiles? So I have been sort of thinking about this, and as someone who reads a lot of CVs every day, again, I think these are fairly obvious points for most people, but sometimes it's worth having a little checklist to go through because you forget about them. Most CVs are, I might spend 10 or 20 seconds reading a CV to start with. So you need to think about that. You need to think about it like a digital marketing campaign. It's all about keywords. Sometimes now people are using AI to search through CVs to filter them in the first place. So think about it as a digital marketing campaign. Have you got the right keywords in there? Is the job title you think is right for you actually the right one for you? And are there other job titles that you'd be perfectly happy taking that you might want to have in your CV that aren't there at the moment? And then again, an obvious but quite often missed element of CVs is everyone thinks they're the best person in blah, 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 blah. Trying to avoid any hyperbole, any of your personal opinions about yourself. It should be about facts, and the more facts, the more revenue figures in there that are directly applicable to what you've achieved, amazing click-through rates or CPAs. There's a whole ton of good metrics you can put in if you're involved with e-commerce and digital marketing that is going to be far more powerful in a CV than saying that you are acknowledged as being the best digital marketer in your. I mean, it's just great if you think that, and that's important that you do think that, but it's not something that's necessarily going to float my boat as a recruiter.
So I guess whether you've been furloughed or you've been made redundant or you're still in a job, there's lots of reason to be optimistic at the moment in terms of some of the conversations you're having about people wanting to hire talent.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think we've probably got, obviously, I mean, I'm not going to try, well, I'm going to try and predict the future, I suppose. I suspect that there's going to be a period of time now where everyone's in lockdown and the activity is low. But I think coming out of this, as I said, this crisis is going to accelerate everyone's understanding that digital marketing, e-commerce is where it's at and where it's going to be. And Primark's a fantastic example of a company that really stuck its head in the sand, and it's lost an enormous amount of money. I think the future's bright. It might be a bit sticky for the next sort of few weeks, but I think ultimately I think this is going to help our sector a lot.
I think it's interesting what you were saying about SEO, because actually that is a channel we're seeing still companies wanting to invest in, and actually taking a lot of the skills of SEO into other channels as well, whether it's Amazon or it's wider digital shelf stuff, some of the stuff we're doing at the moment. But a lot of people are coming back to those core principles of SEO, and I think that's a really important point that you mentioned, actually, because we're seeing people wanting to invest less in paid media but more in organic over the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks very much, James. And if someone wants to get in touch with you, how best to find you? You say you've got an improved LinkedIn profile yourself.
Not yet, I'm just working on it. So James Minter at hanningtontame.com, so HANNINGTON Tame, T-A-M-E. So my partner's Patrick Tame. He's been doing this since 2004. HanningtonTame.com. We actually, I think, rarely, compared to other people, we do everything from recruitment to headhunting. So we'll do anything from literally £40,000 a year up to £400,000 a year. So Behringer Tame is a recruitment brand, and then I run Hannington Tame, which is the exec search part of the business.
Okay, great. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you soon.
Pleasure.
Hopefully.
Nice to have that. Yeah.